Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Embodied Living podcast. And it's been a while. It's been a long while since I recorded the last episode. And there has been a lot going on here in my life over the summer. The last time I shared a podcast was in May. And I do have a feeling that this podcast is going to take a new direction. And today I'm sharing something very personal with you. I'm standing in the middle of a decision. Actually, I took a decision 2 weeks ago under the blood moon that feels both frightening, vulnerable, and also completely right. I've chosen to close my community, Embodied Living, for a while. And I want to tell you why and what's moving in me right now. It's really frightening to say goodbye to something that I have truly loved, to a community, to people I've shared a journey with, to income, in a time that already feels really uncertain. And the fear rises in me as this trembling through my body, as thoughts asking, can I really do this? What if I lose everything? But underneath that fear, or through that feel, I feel something deeper. And it's a kind of disillusion, as if an identity I have carried for a long time no longer fits. I sense it somehow as a kind of ego death, letting go of a form that's brought me joy, it's brought me safety, but in a way feels a little too small. So it's a little bit like peeling away old layers. And even when that hurts, I know this will make space for a stronger flowering later. The fear belongs here, and it shows me that I am moving beyond what's familiar for me. And this ego death is the movement into something new, even if I cannot see it yet. And perhaps maybe this is the hardest part. I actually don't know what will grow from here. For the new to get this space to blossom, to form, the old must die, and that sounds a little big, and it is. Because between those two movements, there is an empty space that appears. And I've noticed how strong the instinct is in me to fill up that space really quickly, to find an answer, to take a new form, make the next step. But honestly, I'm really practicing to just stay here a little longer, in this stillness, in the unknowing. There is such an importance in that space in between. Those of you who know me know that I've talked about this space in between in many of my classes and sessions, because this is where something can ripen beneath the surface. This is where I can listen more deeply. And I believe that only by daring to remain in that space in between, I can allow something new to unfold when the time is right. And this also gives me a perspective on fear. It gives me a new perspective on fear. Because many times in my life, early on, actually every time I felt a fear, I would go right into it. And then later on in life, when I got scared, when I felt that fear, I would hold back. I would close myself in. But this is a sign that something essential is moving. And there is a beautiful link between fear and courage. And here I really feel that courage. A capacity to stay in the movement, even when I can actually not see that full path ahead yet. When I look into the Chinese 5-element theory, we could look at that. We're in the middle or in the beginning of the metal element. And the metal element shows us a way. Metal belonged to the autumn at this time, the season where nature releases. Leaves are falling and everything that no longer carries life returns to the earth. And in our body, metal relates to the lungs and to our large intestine. And the lungs take in the world through breath. The large intestine lets go. This can be hard sometimes. And carries out what is complete in a way. And together, these two shows us the balance between receiving and releasing. There is a grief in releasing. It's a movement. Grief is a movement that also shows us that we have loved what is truly important. I have loved what is truly important. And when we dare to meet that grief, to feel that grief, to really go through that grief, we become clearer. We sense that, in a way, surrendering doesn't take us away from life, it cleanses us. So we can be more present in our life. And there is a courage here that lies in that willingness to release without knowing what comes next, to open up for tears, to breath, to structures that support us instead of holding us back, instead of constricting. And when we surrender into that movement, we stand sharper, like metal, simpler, more connected to our own essence. When I look back at these past 2 weeks, it feels like the sky itself has mirrored my journey. 2 weeks ago, when I made this decision, and this decision came like that. We were under a blood moon, a lunar eclipse that spiritually invites these great karmic endings, great endings. It shows us where we've given ourselves away and made ourselves smaller or tied ourselves in old pattern, and it calls us to release commitments that no longer nourish us. And for me, it was a deep ending and like a shift in, vibration or frequency. Definitely big changes. And now right today, we are in the darkness of a new moon. Tomorrow it's autumn equinox. It's a portal, a huge portal into these new beginnings. An invitation in a way to plant these new seeds in the dark. But it requires some courage. And again, courage and fear, right? For me, my ego can feel a little bit difficult for my ego to step into something that I cannot yet see. I have a tendency to hold on. But these past 2 weeks has been a complete restart. It's been a time of intense inner work, a lot of shadow work. And now, in the darkness of this moon, I sense this sprouting of something new. And you know what? It's not yet clear, but it's born. And it's like the universe has whispered to me, ending, space, beginning. And for me, this beginning is about leadership. It's about inner leadership. I cannot remain in that old if I want to be my own authentic leader, if I want to hold this honest space for others. And I guess I once thought that leadership was about having all the answers, but it's not. Leadership is about daring to step forward. And that step forward might be into the unknown. It's about acting. It's about taking action, even when it frights. Even when I was just about to say a really bad word, but even when it frightens me, to really show myself as a human being on this journey, on this earth, that I am vulnerable, I'm alive. And I sense that version 2.0 of embodied living is calling me. It comes from a completely new place within me. It comes from a place to long to create deeper spaces, to be true to what I really stand in myself, and to invite you into that journey. A journey that is so much more genuine, so much more present, and contains so much more transformation. So, embodied living is, I am working on it, and it has not yet taken shape, but I do know that it will open in October. And I can already really feel that this will be deeper. This will be alive. It will be honest and true. So, for you who have been with me until now, thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this first journey. And I want to invite you to stay, if it feels right, to follow along as this new unfolds. And maybe you can even reflect where in your own life do you sense that fear that is holding you in the old, even when your heart is whispering it's time to let go. I think that's enough for today. And I'm looking forward for this new journey to unfold. So I want to thank you for listening. It means so much more than I can put into words. And we'll meet again. We'll meet again when I'm ready to share more about what this new opening is unfolding. And we'll meet again when I do feel the calling to share more on this channel. So for now, I wish you a beautiful new moon, and I will see and hear you again soon. Take care.